when you come in with a group like this, where you have a couple of guys who are established Pro Bowl veterans, does it alter your approach at all? I mean, everyone has different techniques they like to use. Do you take into account the level of success a group has had or some individuals have had, or are there still certain principles and techniques and changes that you want to implement?
Well, I think there's both points are relative. I think obviously we want to establish a certain style of play for the 2020 Dallas Cowboys offensive line that we want everybody to utilize. But with that said, we spent a lot of time in February, March, and April watching film of what these guys do well and have done well. And so we certainly want to implement some of that into our schemes and our drills and our techniques and fundamentals. So I think it's a little bit of both. But first and foremost is kind of establishing an identity in 2020 as an offensive line. And the guys have been very, very receptive. These guys want to be great football players. They've been listening very well. We had really great meetings virtually in the off season. So, but we're certainly going to build off of the strengths that are already here for sure.
What will that identity be?
Well, we want to be, first and foremost, we want to contribute to the success of the overall unit offensively. And we want to play the game fast, we want to play the game physically, and we want to play the game fundamentally sound. So those are the three main areas that we're really working to emphasize as we have been working diligently throughout training camp.
What were your impressions of Tyron Smith before you got here?
Well, I've been impressed with him, really. I remember evaluating him when he came back out in the draft years ago, and I've, watched him develop into an outstanding professional football player, but really been more impressed with the way he practices, the way he carries himself. He's a true professional, and really enjoyed working with him and looking forward to coaching him throughout the season.
He was such a young guy when he got drafted. You ever seen a younger type offensive lineman just develop as quickly as he did?
Well, he has obviously some outstanding athletic traits. Let's be honest. I mean, he does some things that very few people in the National Football League are able to do. And I think when you combine that with the type of work ethic that he possesses, the type of team player that he is, some of the leadership qualities that he has, I mean, that's a unique skill set that he has. And so when you combine all those things, I'm not overly surprised that he's developed as quickly as he did.
What's the challenge of not having your starting tackles in practice, and how do you evaluate where your line is when those guys aren't in the lineup?
Well, it's given a great opportunity. Again, I always use that saying, nobody likes to see any football player get hurt, and every coach in America wants all his players to practice every single day. With that said, I think we all realize that unfortunately injuries sometimes occur, and but that provides opportunities for other people to showcase what they're capable of doing. And as a coach, you don't really worry too much about, especially right now, who's out there, because your job and your responsibility is to develop each and every single player that you have the privilege to coach. So it's been giving guys other chances, and those guys have been stepping up.
Can you break down the battle that's center and left guard? It seems like Joe Looney is still getting most of the work with the first team and serving with Connor with the second team. I mean, at guard, Connor Williams.
Mm-hmm. Well, again, it's really an open competition. Coach McCarthy at some point in time, I'm sure, is going to name certain starters for the offensive line, and we've given a lot of guys opportunity to get reps, both with the first and second team. Really pleased with the development of the group so far. Got a long way to go, and but we're going to see how it all shakes out. There's still a lot of training camp left. There's still 2.5, 3 weeks before we line up and play in a football game. And so, we certainly want to take our full time and give it a number of different people an opportunity to see how far along they are with their development and how much they can help us contribute in 2020.
Do you have a time when you want your first team line together so they can get that chemistry they need?
Well, in an ideal, this is obviously, let's face it, this is a unique situation. This is my 17th year in the league, and I think the standard coach answer would be, well, we'd love it by the third week preseason game, right? I mean, I think 95% of the coaches in the National Football League would say that. So this is different. This is a different year, and every year is a little bit different. So, at some point we're going to make those determinations. I just don't know that we're quite there yet.
You were talking to Mike Nolan about a week ago, and he talked about how how good Mike McCarthy is in front of the team. He talked about how he is just like one of the best head coaches you've ever seen when he's addressing the team. You've obviously been around Mike McCarthy. Just what stands out about him when he's addressing the team? What makes him, I guess, relatable to the players?
Well, I mean, I think Mike's a people person first and foremost. I think he relates well to all different types of people. Certainly football players in the National Football League. He's got a demonstrated record of doing that extremely well. I think he's authentic. He's a real guy. He's a regular guy. I think people can feel that about him. He doesn't have a lot of pretense or airs about him, and I think people appreciate that and respect that. And he's very honest with the players. And so, there's not a lot of fluff. There's a lot of substance to Mike, and I think at the end of the day, people respond to that. And I think NFL players want to be told, the real stuff. And he's not afraid to get into that, whether it's good, bad, or ugly. And so I think players, and he's a good man. He's a good person. He's a good guy. He's fun. I think he's easy to get along with. And so I think players get that sense of him being that type of individual relatively quickly.
You were on staff with him on that team that won the Super Bowl at AT&T Stadium. What do you remember about that week and just how we dealt with the team? And also, does AT&T Stadium hold a bit of a special place in your heart and Mike's heart, given what happened there 10 years ago?
Yeah, sure does. I mean, I remember how great the weather was. That I remember. But I think I have two pictures in my office, and one of them is with my wife and my 6 children that on the field after the game. And I don't know if you guys know, not to be a downer. We've lost a child, so that's one picture that's been with me ever since. So I have a lot of special memories of that week. I think if you ask me, Joe, why did we win that game? Offensively, I think we didn't turn the ball over, and I think the Steelers turned it over maybe 3 times. So I think, playing sound, good, hard, clean, tough, physical football wins championships. And I think that's, I know Coach McCarthy believes in that. And, I think that was kind of why the outcome of the game was what it was. But it was, it was a great week. So certainly looking forward to coaching a lot of games in this stadium. And, truth be told, when I was in the 70s, when I was growing up, I'm dating myself a little bit, but, I was a Dallas Cowboy fan in New England. So this is a thrill for me. And, I can't wait to have the opportunity to do that.
So what do you guys like about Tyler Biadasz coming out of Wisconsin, and how's he done handling the virtual work as well as his first 2 practices as a pro?
Yeah. I think the guy's a football player, and I know that's kind of football, he looks natural playing the position of center, Is Tyler Biadasz going to be a versatile NFL tackle? Probably not. But, he started, again, I don't know that I'm exactly right, but I'm going to say he started 35 or so games at center at the University of Wisconsin, which is a school that knows how to run the football, knows how to throw the football. He played in a good program. I know he likes football. I know that sounds crazy. You would think everybody that you coach in the National Football League loves the game. I'm not so sure over 17 years that's the case with everybody. So I think he's got a football player mentality. I think he knows how to play the position of center. I think he demonstrated that on his tape. And, so far, and let's be honest, I've been evaluating guys coming into the league for 17 years, and I've made my fair share of mistakes. I think he's kind of what we saw on tape. He's tough, he's hard-nosed, He's got some good play strength. He understands the game well, and yeah, he's off to a good start. Got a ton, got a million miles to go, but he's he's off to a good start.
In a year where there are no preseason games and you're trying to catch up so much, how helpful is it for your guys to go against defensive linemen like Demarcus Warren, Dalvin Smith, Everson Griffin?
Yeah, I mean it's awesome. Those guys every single day they get challenged. We talk to our guys. Let's face it, in the offensive line, those guys run 70-ish plays a game, and they're in a physical confrontation every single play, and so they need to get pushed. They need to get the play speed that those guys have on the edge is really impressive, and it forces them on a daily basis and snap in, snap out to be really locked in. And so been very impressed with those defensive guys up front. They've given us all that we can handle, and ultimately that's going to really help us in the long run.
Along those lines, would you say that these practices have been maybe a little bit closer to full speed because of no preseason games, or are they about what you would consider normal camp practices?
I've been impressed with the pace and the tempo and the speed that the entire team practices with, and I think part of that's coaches put together a great schedule that's allowed them to be relatively fresh. We all know in training camp they get tired a little bit, but I think coach put together a great plan for these guys, and they've responded very well. And so yeah, I've been very, very impressed with the way the overall athleticism and team speed that we have at the present time.
Why hasn't Cam Irving been practicing, and what do you expect his timeline to be over the next couple of weeks?
Well, I'm gonna leave Coach McCarthy's the one to, I think, ask the questions about injuries and when guys. But whenever our medical staff, we got a great medical staff here, and when players are healthy, they'll be out there, and we look forward to working with him when he gets out there.
What sort of regard to which did you hold Zach Martin before you joined the Cowboys? And having now seen him up close, what do you think has made him so effective over the course of his career?
Zach's a football player. I mean, he loves the game. The Dallas Cowboys are important to Zach. His teammates are important to him. He understands the position. He's been well coached. I know his college coach, Harry Heastant, was an excellent coach. He's had very good coaching here. The guy loves the game. He's passionate about it, passionate about this team and his teammates, the locker room. So he's very, very impressive guy to be around. He's a fun guy to be around. So certainly liked him coming out when he was coming out as a player. I think I was in Miami at the time. I want to say maybe we were picking 16th or 17th, and I think maybe he went 14th. I don't know if that's exactly right. Don't hold me to that, but it sounds close. And so I wasn't very happy that day, but I'm much happier now.
Would you guys have taken him if he was available?
We liked him a whole lot. We liked him a whole lot. I wasn't the general manager, so I'm not going to go out on a limb there, but he was very highly thought of in our building for sure.
Lyle Collins has yet to practice during training camp as he works to get into the right conditioning to do so, among other things that he's got going. What's your confidence level that he can be ready week one and be where he needs to be?
Well, I really like what he's doing in the meetings. He's been very engaged. He has a very good grasp of what we're doing. Obviously, there's with Coach Moore being the coordinator, there's certain things that are similar. There's certain things that are different, and he's certainly embraced the new, different things and been receptive to those. So you're not talking about a guy that doesn't have any reps in the bank. So I've been enjoyed our working relationship so far, and we'll see how every day is a new day, and we're looking forward to when he's out there full time.
Thank you.